Okay, so ever imagined yourself actually flying a plane?
Not just like, being a passenger, but actually at the controls.
Wow.
Today's deep dive takes us right into the cockpit.
Okay.
We've got this YouTube video. I flew a real Taylor-Craft tail dragger. It's from Hamiltronplayz. And this guy, he is living the dream.
Like pure infectious enthusiasm,
I love that.
He actually won the chance to pilot a plane.
It's not every day you hear about someone winning a flight, is it?
And it's even more interesting when you consider the type of plane we're talking about, a Cessna.
Which is a classic choice for learning to fly. It's kind of like the training wheels of the aviation world, if you will.
Yeah.
They're small, super popular for those introductory flights, and just give you that true hands-on feeling of what it means to pilot.
He makes it sound incredible.
It was like some kind of first-come, first-served deal.
Oh, wow.
Which makes it even cooler.
Like, not only did he get this amazing chance,
Right.
but he was quick enough to snag it. You know?
Yeah.
And he keeps saying, like throughout the video, it's an experience some people would never be able to do.
Wow.
Which really highlights how special this opportunity is.
Yeah.
Even for someone who seems, already pretty knowledgeable about aviation.
Right.
Especially because he gets to fly this two-seater Cessna
Okay.
with a certified pilot named Chad.
I was going to say,
Like, they're with him.
that detail about flying with Chad is important because it actually hints that what this experience might be is what's called a discovery flight.
Flight schools offer these introductory flights to give people a taste of what it's really like to be at the controls.
It's way more accessible and less intimidating way to experience flying than, say, jumping right into full pilot training.
Makes sense.
It's like dipping your toes in the water before taking the plunge.
Yeah, it's like a try before you buy
Exactly.
for flying, which is such a cool concept.
Now, you've got to hear this. So he describes taking off.
Okay.
And you can practically hear the engine roar and feel the plane lifting off the ground.
He even compares it to get this playing Microsoft Flight Simulator,
Oh, interesting.
which I thought was an interesting comparison.
It's like he's grounding the experience in something relatable.
Right.
Even for those of us who haven't had the chance to, fly a real plane.
Right.
Plus, and this is a kicker, he was actually recording while he was flying.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine having the composure to do that while you're piloting a plane for the first time?
Well, it makes you wonder if those comparisons cheapen the experience or actually make it more accessible.
Because not everyone has had the opportunity to sit in a cockpit, but many have tried, virtual flying.
Right.
So I think it's a good reminder that even these extraordinary experiences can have connections to our everyday lives.
That's true.
And yeah, the fact that he's filming while flying is impressive,
It speaks to a certain level of comfort and confidence.
which is likely due to having Chad, the instructor, right there beside him.
Totally. And speaking of feeling comfortable,
Let's talk about the view from up there.
a view from a small plane is something else, isn't it?
He makes it sound breathtaking.
He talks about flying over cornfields
Right.
that just seem to stretch forever.
Yeah.
These shimmering lakes.
Even pointing out, the intricate patterns in the grass. It's like he's seeing the world with new eyes,
noticing all these details that are completely lost at ground level.
Absolutely.
Have you ever, experienced that kind of shift in perspective?
There's a reason why people have been dreaming of flight for centuries.
It's not just about getting from point A to point B.
Right.
It's about this innate human desire to see beyond the horizon.
To experience the world from a completely different, vantage point.
Yeah.
And when you're up there,
Soaring above it all.
it really does make you appreciate the beauty and complexity of the world around you.
He even mentions seeing this lake.
That from above, it looks just like a person.
Oh, wow.
It's those little details.
Those unexpected moments of wonder that really make this experience so unique.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what else we're missing,
Mhm.
when we're bound by, our everyday perspectives.
It's a powerful reminder to stay curious.
Totally.
To never stop looking at the world with a sense of awe and wonder.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not just the visual perspective that changes when you're flying.
There's this incredible sense of freedom.
And possibility.
Ooh,
You're
yeah.
literally charting your own course through the air, unbound by roads.
Yeah.
He actually uses the phrase...
In a regular plane, but you're in the cockpit.
almost like he can't believe it himself.
Right.
That's got to be an amazing feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Realizing you're not just a passenger anymore, you're in control.
It's a complete shift in dynamic, isn't it?
You're no longer passively observing the journey.
You're an active participant in it.
Right.
And the fact that he keeps drawing these parallels to Microsoft Flight Simulator,
Suggests that he's already thinking about the mechanics of flight.
The physics of how it all works.
It's like he's not content with just experiencing the flight.
He wants to understand it on a deeper level.
That's so true.
And you can tell he's hooked on that feeling
Of control.
of understanding how to maneuver this machine through the air.
Speaking of which,
Remember how we mentioned the plane being a tail dragger?
yeah,
I was curious about that.
what exactly does that mean?
Sure. A tail dragger refers to a specific type of landing gear configuration.
So instead of having a nose wheel like most modern planes do,
Okay.
tail draggers have a wheel on their tail.
With two smaller wheels farther forward beneath the wings.
It's an older design.
And some pilots actually find them more challenging and fun to fly.
So it's like...
The difference between driving an automatic
Exactly.
and a stick shift.
And just like some drivers prefer that control and engagement of a manual transmission.
Some pilots are drawn to the unique challenges and rewards of flying a tail dragger.
Gotcha.
It adds an extra layer of complexity and skill to the experience.
And speaking of different perspectives, the YouTuber mentions that his mom was actually filming the flight from the ground.
Oh, that's right.
I bet that's a whole other level of like nerve-wracking.
See beyond the ground.
Watching your kids soar through the air in this tiny plane.
Right.
He even, he shouts her out mid-flight.
It speaks to the emotional weight of these experiences, doesn't it?
It's not just about the individual's journey.
Yeah.
It's about the connections.
And shared experiences that make these moments even more meaningful.
Absolutely. And he's clearly sharing this experience with his viewers, too.
Right.
He encourages them to, leave a comment if they've flown in a Cessna.
It's like he's building this little community
Yeah.
around this shared passion for aviation.
He even asks viewers to guess how fast the propeller is spinning.
Which I think is clever.
I love that.
It's a way to keep people engaged and thinking critically.
About the technical aspects of flight, even if they're just watching from behind a screen.
Right.
And you know what really struck me?
He doesn't just gloss over the technical details.
Yeah.
He points out specific things about the plane.
Like we were just talking about, the fact that it's a tail dragger.
And you can tell he's genuinely excited about it.
It's contagious, isn't it?
His enthusiasm for aviation is palpable.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds us that knowledge and passion are often,
Intertwined.
Yeah.
The more we learn about something.
the more our curiosity and enthusiasm grow.
That's so true. It makes me want to learn more about planes.
Just from listening to him talk about them.
Yeah.
And now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, he actually shows footage.
Of himself at the controls.
I love this part.
You can practically feel the excitement radiating through the screen.
It's one thing to talk about flying a plane,
Right.
but to actually see him with his hands on the controls.
The look on his face, pure focus and exhilaration.
Yeah.
It brings the whole experience to life.
He's even pointing out landmarks. He's like,
Oh, I remember seeing that. That was the runway. Oh, and there were some helicopters over there.
wow.
You can almost retrace his, flight path.
Just by listening to him talk.
That's cool.
It's like we're right there in the cockpit with him.
Feeling the wind in our hair, the sun on our faces.
He's doing a fantastic job of, painting that picture for us.
Yeah.
It's that immersive storytelling that makes this video.
Really special.
Right. And then we get to see his mom's footage.
Oh, yeah.
And the way she keeps calling it a tail dragger.
She's clearly just as excited about the experience as he is.
Huh.
You can hear the pride in her voice.
As she's filming the plane taking off and landing.
It's a sweet reminder that these kinds of experiences often,
Ripple outwards,
Yeah.
touching the lives of those around us. It just adds a whole other layer of emotion to the story.
It really does. So after spending this time...
With the YouTuber and, his infectious enthusiasm for flying,
Right.
it makes you wonder.
It's stopping anyone from giving it a try,
He's giving us permission.
To chase our own dreams, no matter how big or small.
Exactly.
He reminds us that these extraordinary experiences are often...
More accessible than we think.
So to our listener, if you've ever dreamt of, soaring above the clouds...
Feeling that sense of freedom and possibility.
Maybe this deep dive has given you the nudge you needed.
There you go.
Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one inspiring us.
With your aviation adventure next time.
And we'll be here, ready to unpack every detail.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning.
And keep looking up.